Hello, back for replay number 2 here on your Pudge game. Luckily the replays are working today, so starting items look decent. I don't know if you're playing core. Appears to me that you are playing a support. Pudge is obviously not in a great place right now. I'm sure you're slightly aware of that. So laning with him can be a bit iffy, but I kind of like the Veno dual lane. It's decent. If you hook somebody out of position, you guys have really good disable, and you'll generally win trades due to Veno's good trade capabilities. Gale's been missed. Rot level 1. Okay, there's your first big mistake. Rot level 1 is 100% wrong. You cannot do Rot level 1. The reason Rot level 1 sucks is because you're doing equal damage to yourself as you're dealing to them, which means they're always going to beat you in a trade because in this case, he has about as much HP as you. You lost 2 strength here, but basically you will lose a trade against Slark. So the best thing you can do as Pudge level 1 in almost all cases is to get Hook, because Hook does damage. And if you hook somebody out of position near to you and Veno, for example, then that person has to run. But by getting Rot, you're basically not going to do anything other than keep him slightly out of position a little bit longer. But like, even if you walk in and Rot him, look, all he has to do is hit you. Your only advantage is that you do 14 more damage. You Rot trading there actually just probably did more damage to you than to him. So you can't get Rot level 1. Unless you are maybe a core, and then you can use Rot to maybe help secure some of your last hits. But you see what's happening? He's hitting you like 5 times and you're rotting for a fraction of a second and it doesn't do anything. That's why he's not scared of you. So this is a pretty large mistake. So basically until you hit level 2, your hero is not contributing to the lane. You've done an okay job running at the line to make him attack you instead of Venomancer, but this is the other problem, is that Veno also is a weak laner. Now you're going for Rot trades, but you're just going to die because your HP is too low. So you're back at the lane now, hoping to get level 2. This guy looks like he's probably dead this time. You're gonna die again though. More perma-stats going to Slarky Slark. Now you're gonna have to walk back to lane. Got a buckler and a magic stick, which is fine. So your basic goal should be create space for Venomancer, basically, and then let him get last hits and denies. Generally, I'd prefer you stay over here to the side. That way you can swing in if needed. Line is now pulling. Man, it's really hard to get last hits as Veno. Now the best thing you can do is hook line, probably. Maybe Slark, actually. I would hook this. Bounties. Got the hook. Okay, that was good. I would maybe get Flesh Sheep at level 3 because you'd get bonus strength, but it's only like 2, so not a huge deal. 2 points of Rot is kind of nice too, double the damage, a little bit more slow. So I'm not super upset with your choice here. This is good, I like this trade. You need to turn your Rot off a little bit more though. This is like a pretty small thing, but like watch this moment here where he gets away from you. Right here, you're wasting HP. The leaving Rot on means that you're taking damage. And then you can turn it back on, but before that point you wasted some health. Salve here would be good. Actually Tango works too. If you're sitting too far back, I would like you to be up here a little bit farther probably. I'll watch that again from your perspective. Yeah, I was a little bit too excited. Okay, you did want the flesh heap, it turns out. No flesh heap? Bro! This seems crazy to me. Like, the extra hook levels are great, and the extra rod levels are good, but I pretty much always get 1 flesh heap before 6. Because that's 3 strength. Like, that's not bad. 8% magic resistance is not a massive amount in all. But, like, hook really doesn't get much better. With the second level, the cooldown goes down by 5 seconds. That part's kind of cool. But the damage only goes up by 70 pure. It's like 100 damage. I mean, it's good. It's good damage, but, like, I don't know. I like 1 flesh heap board pre-6. Like I said, you'd have 3 more strength right now. And that feels fun to me. I don't know. Maybe... I mean, you will do a little bit more. You're going to do more damage this way, but not so much more that I feel like this is necessarily the right choice. Is all. Good hook. What a weird fight. What a weird fight. Everyone's like, but I might as well fight. Don't be that guy. I was going to say. That was really bizarre. Okay. And you got a keen optic pretty early. That's nice. Oh, well. Okay. Well. That all went really good for you guys. Now you got another rot point, which again is... fine. Maybe should be flesh heap. I have a hard time saying no to a 3rd rot point, but I mean, you'd probably have like close to 6 strength at this point, which is a huge amount of health. It's like 120 HP and HP regen too. So let's see where you're going. Now you're roaming to the mid lane. Maybe you could have TP'd here. I wouldn't be afraid to just rot slow this from the beginning. Like rot clear it. I would have walked into that wave and I would have just turned rot on and let it clear the whole wave. Personally. So one of the issues going on here is that you haven't hit 6 yet, and basically the reason this happened was because partially you died at the start of every kill, but also because you never pulled one time, and you probably should have done that. The wave pushed up a lot. It was like pretty constantly up here. Maybe because of, I'm not really sure why, AoE or something, but if you pull a little bit more, you'll deny a little bit more experience from your opponents, and you'll get a little bit more experience as well. So that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, that you're a little underleveled. That was a good kill, good rotation. Ghouls will kick back in. A very nice hook. You being here is perfect. Remember last replay where I talked about how you didn't go to the top lane enough? You've basically done this perfectly this game. That's probably partially because it's your lane, so it felt natural to stay here. But this is basically what you want to do in a normal situation, is sit waiting and then get ready to dive, basically. It's easier for Pudge, obviously, because you can hook people out from the tower, but you've done a good job here. This is great. And you're staying hidden the whole time. They don't know for sure if you're still here. And once that tower dies... Alright, this is the one big mistake that you guys are making. Is that you're not staying... No one's staying in lane. And Veno backed up to go jungle. What's the point in jungling? There's beautiful... beautiful creeps right there to get. Let's see what you ended up doing too. Now you're running all the way to the top lane, it looks like. Once again, you are afraid to use your teleport scroll, it feels like. Terrified to spend 90 gold. Somebody should have stayed bottom. Like, this is what's nice about taking this tower, is you take this tower and you push the creep wave up to here. You guys not doing this was a big mistake, because you just wasted like a minute at least. Wave pushes up to here. You guys start controlling the jungle. You can farm these camps pretty safely. Veno can use plague wards to control the area as well, in addition to observer wards. But you guys running all the way top to gank for AM here, like, he shouldn't technically be here. He should have been ganked by now, for example. But you guys smoking this makes this decent, I suppose.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Killing Slug here is not very easy. This is part of the reason. See how difficult this was? Like, it's a lot easier for them to approach. They have a bunch of different angles, so you usually have to retreat to here, and once you retreat to here, you're just not in a very defensive position. Now you guys are all sitting behind the tower because it's scary. This whole time, no ganks have happened, you missed your hooks, and now your hero's not really useful for another 15 seconds. All of this makes your game feel a lot less valuable to me. You could be sitting down and playing around Necro, for example. And yeah, you're defending the tier 1 tower or whatever, but like, you're probably not going to get a kill here. You just now hit 7 at 15 minutes and you still don't have Flesh Heap. Which again would be like 6 health or 6 strength. And now you're once again lost. So basically you like started doing the right thing, but then you kind of completely fell off track. And again, the mistake that's made is that you guys gave up the offlane. Once the tower was gone, you guys were like, well, we don't need to be here anymore, and that's not true. Push the lane out, control the jungle, then do Pudge things. Your activities around the map are not just limited to towers alone, for example. Like, you don't have to just play around the towers. But it's the most obvious place to play around the map. Because you think like, okay, gotta kill towers, gotta defend towers. That all makes sense. But like, you've pretty much only played on your side of the map all the way up until this point. And yeah, you guys are gonna get this fight. Ooh, this one does not look so good for you. Got another flesh strength. It was a decent fight for you guys, but like, why is Kunky here? Why did he get engaged on by 4 heroes? Like, he shouldn't be here without vision, basically. And he was, and that's why you guys got a good fight. But winning this fight should not be seen as like a bonus to you guys playing well, because it wasn't. It was them playing bad and you guys being there. That's all that happened. So, like, while you guys might think, oh, we had a great fight, you guys used your spells pretty decent, but realistically, they did something really stupid, and you didn't play bad when they did something stupid. So, and now you're again waiting around for them to do something stupid again, is basically what's happening. So the game's going to continue at this point, waiting for them to make mistakes, or for you to hook somebody. This is why Pudge works better at lower MMRs, because teams tend to just stand around a lot, not doing effective moves, and Pudge will eventually hook somebody and force a fight that is generally more advantageous for the Pudge side. But at higher levels, Pudge isn't as effective as other heroes, partially because he doesn't trade as well in lane, and because his skills are not as reliable as other heroes, and that can all cost you a bit. So in the meantime, your team is basically just AFK farming on your side of the map, when in reality you should have people pushing lanes. Basically what Grimstroke is doing here is great. Where are you at right now? Still running around. Basically you do this a lot. You kind of just pace back and forth on the map. But what should happen? Somebody should push this lane really quick. Like, with every, like, a creep comes up, you nuke it twice. Pushes next, nuke next wave. In the meantime, you walk through the jungle like this, get wards, dewards, and then you guys look for kills in the jungle. That's what should be happening. Not this passive AFK jungling. Any team can passively AFK jungle. And that's why heroes like Anti-Mage are generally have high win rates as well, is because people don't know how to pressure very well. So they basically just sit on their side of the map and jungle, and the enemy team sits on their side of the map and jungles. And eventually, you guys go fight or whatever, but generally, the hardest carries will usually win. That's why, like, lots of core lineups at low MMRs are effective, because players don't understand well how to pressure the map and to set up ganks and stuff like that. The game just, like, slows down. So now you see heroes top, so you're like, finally, something to do. You TP to the top lane, you're ready to fight, despite the fact that you're level double in mana and HP, but But that's why you TP top, because you saw heroes. Okay, what just happened? Grimstroke dies over here. That's partially because he spent literally 2 minutes pushing this lane and it was pretty obvious he was there. But anyways, we'll see how this one goes. Nice hook there. He is completely fine. Tower will eventually die. Now you guys run for your lives. You're still only level 7 at 18 minutes, by the way. This is really low experience game. You finally got Flesh Heap. 8 strength you were giving up this whole time. 8 strength. That's so much strength. It's a free bracer. That's 500 gold. Effectively. Oh, you should have stayed for the Flesh Heap. That was a mistake. You could add 1 other strength there. Oh, that was like, I could not believe that you got the cast range on him there. But it was the Keen Optic, I suppose. Extremely dead hero. So what happened here? You guys have a small skirmish. You move forward looking for more kills. But you didn't do this safely. You didn't have vision over here. You're basically walking into enemy territory. They might have wards. They might not. You don't know. They did have wards. They collapse on you and they kill you. And your team tries to back you up, but they also die. So was any of this good? This movement past the secret shop? It wasn't. It would have been better if you guys push forward through the creep wave, ward D-ward in this area to make sure they don't have a ward, and then you maybe ward over here to try to catch somebody that's still in the area. But walking in blind like that is less likely to work effectively. Doing the same thing again, walking into the enemy side of the map, looking for something to do. Invis will be nice, because you can use this to set up. Well, unfortunately, pop it, walk back for 2 seconds, and then go in. Because she was going to see you coming. Dotabuff was strong there. You should have waited to ulti the Slark, probably. What is this? Some weird things happening in this game. Okay, you guys got some stuff done. So, again, to reiterate, things you need to do to pressure the map effectively. Push out creep waves. When the creep waves get to the tower, usually your opponents will TP in. Then when you're standing here waiting while your anti-mage pushes in, then you jump out and gank the guy. Very similar to what you did down here when you hooked the Dazzle. That should be your general game plan for a Dota match. When there's nothing happening, push lanes. If it doesn't feel safe to push lanes because they have good gank heroes, then maybe you need to back it up a little bit. But generally you need to kind of be aware about how fast it's going to take for somebody to come and gank you. Like imagine you just teleport instantly this lane. Let's say Dazzle wasn't here. But you see how Dazzle's here? How long is it going to take for you guys to get here? In Venom's case, it's not going to take long because he's already walking there. But if you wanted to go gank him right now, you would have to say, oh, there's Dazzle. You'd start teleporting, and it would take you another 10 seconds to walk here. So Dazzle very likely has at least like 5 to 10 seconds that he can push this lane with a really low chance he's being ganked. At high levels, players will wait for this. They'll say, I bet you somebody's going to push here. They'll wait here, wait here, wait here, not getting last hits. Somebody will show, and then they'll jump out and kill the guy as soon as he shows up. But at basically anything below 5k MMR minimum, nobody does that. So you can pretty much show up to a lane like this, push it, and then walk away back to jungle. And then when the wave comes back, you show up, you push it quickly in 5 seconds, and you walk back to jungle. That's your normal thing to do. But you're always reacting visually. You see heroes, then you walk over to them. That's like the really lazy way to play the game. It's going to work, but only against bad players, basically. So it's gonna limit your ability to raise your MMR, because you're never being proactive. Your smoke there was a waste, obviously. You walked mid, somebody should be pushing this wave. You doing it is great. You've also got Blink Dagger now, which is a great item on Pudge. I'm glad you're buying that. You appear dead to me. That was extremely close. Lotus Sorbet. Vex will TP. Looks like he was dead no matter what. Alright, let's see what you do here. You got armor, which is the right choice against Slark. Oh, whoops. Didn't expect you to TP so quick. So you're TPing in. It's a good try, but you're just a little off target, obviously. Against Slark there would have been really good, of course. He's taking rot damage at least, but... little too many. Ooh, you guys really jumped the gun on this one. Nice hook. Nice blink. Now you're collecting all of your heaps. Another heap, very good. Glad you understand the value of the blink Pudge. It changes so much. Alright. Vlad's? Okay, interesting. I'm not in the slightest upset about that. It's a cool idea. Good save. I mean, somebody's got to build auras, right? Veno can do it a little bit, and I think Necra is what Greaves, so... You guys are getting there. Vlad's is a great choice. Just to help your team out. You could also buy Force Staff. Glimmer Cape. There's a couple other options, of course. So, mid tower's dead. Veno's going to pressure this a little bit. Now you're looking for something to do again. You're going to be running back and forth, which isn't really the right thing to do. You should be like... You could have TP'd, for example, and come for this gank. Small mistake there. You shouldn't have blinked. She blinked. You don't know where she goes, but you blinked before you went high ground. The minimum easiest thing to do is to walk high ground. See if you see her in this smaller area, and then if you don't, walk a little farther. Because you know she just blinked. She can't blink again, right? So, if she's blinked, she's likely going to... And she's going to run to her base, probably. She's probably coming this direction. So the safest thing, by far, walk high ground and walk a little bit until you see her. And then if you don't, and you think she probably went right or left, then you can pick which one you want to guess on, and then you blink. But you blinking here was really dangerous. Mainly because now you're out of blink range. Or now you're out of dismember range. So the only reason this kill happened, actually, is because you landed your hook. If you miss this hook, then she doesn't die. But because you landed the hook, it's fine. And this is all because you blinked from low ground to high ground to try to get there faster. But in reality, you didn't need to because this is a 6-second cooldown. So that's a really small thing, but you know, that's going to lower or decrease your ability to get those ganks successfully otherwise. Alright, you TP in bottom because there's a fight, which is great. He had to do that to buy himself time. Great Lotus Orb. Oh, man. That was a funny fight. Good usages by the Necro here. The Lotus was so big. Then you blink in, you get clean up. Beautiful. Yeah, he deserved that tip big time. He used his skills very well there. Alright, so looks like your Vlad's is coming. You shouldn't be showing on the creep wave. This is a big mistake. You do not need to help push this wave. They're going to handle this. You should be standing here instead. You should be getting ready for the next thing, because that's your role as Pudge. Now they know you're here still. And now, by the time you're trying to get into position to hook, imagine if somebody shows right here, right now. You're standing back here, then you have to blink forward. Imagine if you're standing here instead, and somebody shows. You blink and ulti them. But here you're out of blink range by a little bit. You'd have to do a blink hook that's less reliable. So how much did it actually help you to walk into the creep wave and clear it? Not very much. Looks like you're slightly AFK here, and now you're in position, but like, realistically, like this spot is decent, but I would prefer to stand over here instead, personally. Because then you have a better vantage point. See how much closer that is to enemy territory? It's more dangerous, I guess, but they have dead heroes. So really what you should be... You don't need to be in a really defensive position right now because they have dead heroes. If they have dead heroes, you should always be playing more aggressive. Here's a quap. If you're standing here, you could just ping the shit out of her and just blink ulti her. And your team will back you up. And then maybe you'll die to tower and disables, but... would have been slightly more likely to be useful than what you did. Now let's see where you walk. If I were you, instead of walking this way, I'd be walking bottom. I don't think that anybody is going to be up here on the enemy team. I think it's much more... We already see somebody bottom. You can move into their jungle, and anti-mage can push forward like this, and then maybe you guys can get a kill together, for example. But instead, you're kind of defaulting to jungling, or in this case, stacking, which is good. But it's better for you to look for kills, not for you to just sit back on your side of the map. Spider legs are really good on you. I would keep that. Or craggy coat. Oh no, that's not good. I would take spider legs though, I think, on Pudge. Any like melee hero that needs the gap closed is really effective. You're bringing the Vambrace though. Who got the legs? Legs are really good on Necro too. You're definitely missing items though. Like I think this is like an efficiency problem that you're just playing a little slow. Like you got Blink at a good time, but and the Vlad's was alright. But like you have 2 empty item slots. You don't have a wand upgrade. You could use more armor, in my opinion. There's just some stuff that I kind of wish you had. Oh. Maybe a dust. Want to watch that again? You should really... I'd be running, dude. They're crazy. The fact that you're alive is insane, but that was crazy. You got down to like 40% HP and then you started running in again. I would have hovered in this area and basically watched for like a hook, because you walking in is too dangerous when your HP is that low. It's possible for them to burst you, and they definitely should have been able to, but they didn't hit you with much physical damage, just magic. And your allies backed you up with Glimmer Cape, for example, so that made it easier for you to live. But if you sit back and hook like Quap to your position and ulti or here, then it becomes a really hard thing for your opponents, because then your opponents have to run into you guys to save that guy. So it would have been a lot safer for you to hook somebody into you, use Dismember, and then heal up that way at 40% HP instead of trying to walk in 3 disables that were going to interrupt your Blink Dagger. Like effectively, Anti-Mage and Necro are carrying you in this position. I would Blink here for a Flesh Heap again. It's another strength you could have had. But I guess you're looking for the kill down here, which is semi-reasonable too. You should have blinked. The fact you didn't blink is crazy. At least blink. Blink, maybe throw a hook as well. Like, blink from here to here, and then throw a hook like this way, or blink here and throw a hook this way or something. Because you know that he's going to run in TP. The fact that he pushed out the lane that much was very punishable. Meaning that you guys should have punished him. Could have and should have punished him. You better not try to hook her. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. Alright, you got that down at least. So much heap. Could be more though. I honestly just kind of wish you'd have a hood or something like that though. I don't know what the percentage of damage you're taking is, but a hood or a plate mail would be really nice, or maybe a ghost scepter, or maybe a force staff. I think all that stuff would be easier. Hitting tower, not necessarily very needed. I'd prefer you stand here. Maybe you spot somebody and you can hook them to your team. Same thing. Why are you standing behind your team? You should be always standing in front of them to look for hook opportunities, basically. Unless you're trying to force your team to Roshan, and this can be useful. So doing this way was really sloppy. I get that you guys see them, but look, if you're gonna blink high ground, what you should do is just blink high ground from smoke, not from vision. Like, let's watch this from their perspective. See how long they see you before you finally blink? So like the issue is that you are basically blinking at a disadvantage because your smoke broke and they saw you coming. If you blink forward and that's the first time they see you, then they're not going to be running away already, because that's why they're all turned around and running away. They would still be standing looking in this direction. So if you blink forward, it's still a bit dangerous because then you might not be in dismember range, but at least then you would have a better chance to get an ulti off. And that's why you didn't kill Cooperative. You have to settle for a lion instead, which is still good, but like that was just a slightly dangerous move what you just did. Now you're gonna run across the whole map to try to kill Slark, which is a waste of your time. Alright, you've changed your mind and cancelled. You guys are Roshin. Still really missing some items. Like, the only reason your itemization is working is because your opponents are kind of weak, in my opinion. Like, look how scary Slark is compared to what you do. You only have, what, 7 armor from talents and stuff. It's way too low. Like, you've got so much HP, you have to pair your HP with the resistances to increase the longevity. Like, if they use spells on you and you have high resistances, it's a waste of spells for them, basically. And that's kind of how you're playing, but I just really wish that you had at least a cloak. At least a cloak. Buy a cloak, you know? 15% magic resistance against a Quap and a Lion. And even a Slark, it's going to be pretty good. You finally bought Plate Mill, which is good. You're going to go Lotus Orb, which is good. But, like, do you see my point? I feel like you've had these 2 empty item slots for a long time. And they could have been filled with something, even if it was a cheap item. Alright, let's see how you approach this. Slow. That was fun. So, basically fight. Look how different this fight would be if you would have been able to get the Dismember off. Oh, that would have been so different. I'm sure you know that, though. Or if you just had Rot on, it would have been very different, too. See how fast you're dying to this guy. He has a lot of stolen agility, but still. I see your... what you took damage from? I don't think so. You should have farmed back again, because it just respawned. Alright, you walked mid again, because you don't want to teleport ever, of course. Ward is too defensive. I'd prefer you guys ward aggressively since you're winning. This one's only useful if they cross the map, but because you guys are winning, they're not going to cross the map. Nice hook.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You hit buildings because they're dead, but normally I wouldn't want you to do that. I don't know why you waited so long. I was sitting there like, okay, there's a good time to go in, but I was like, maybe it's okay to wait. Like here, I would have maybe gone in before he got graved, but it's good that you didn't, because I would have gone voted here. But I definitely would have gone in now. Like, why not blink in and just rock kill this guy? You don't have to do this, like, skill shot shit. Like, you got the kill and all, but, like, you could still have hook off cooldown, you know? Like, you could just jump in and rot kill that guy and then walk away after. And now you could hook him back. One of those moments where I wish you had a cloak. Benno really needed a 4-step there. This guy did a very good job using his Lotus Orb. Okay. All right, I think we'll stop about there. Hope that was helpful. Yeah, your Pudge is there's a lot of good things about Pudge that you do pretty well, but there's just a couple efficiency things that are a bit weak. Your early skill build was really detrimental to you. Your missing lack of items, empty item slot is like a Slacks problem. You can't have this because cheap items are really efficient. That could be a cloak, it could even be a chainmail, or it could be another buckler. You know, like then your whole team has 5.5 armor instead of 3, and then even if you sell this later, you lose like 200 gold, which is really not a big deal. But 2.5 armor for you and everybody else on your team is a really big deal when everybody has so much HP. You know, so there's things like that that you can adjust to make your game a little bit stronger. But mostly it's just that you're not pressuring lanes very well and not sitting near the lanes because nobody's pushing them. You're spending too much time on your side of the map. So you guys won this because your core's overplayed. Your Necro played super well. You did have a good KDA as well. You've been in the right place. You've been in the fights, and you've been using your skills pretty darn well when you do them. But your Anti-Mage and your Necro basically outplayed, and you were also there to help. So it worked well. But if you're in a losing game, I don't see you winning because you're just going to be on your side of the map. And when the fights happen, yeah, maybe you land a good hook, and maybe it turns a fight in some way. But like you have to be proactive as well to pressure the lane in games where you don't have as good a hard carries. I think that's also important. All right, hopefully that helped. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.